You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero opens with a message that is direct, playful, and powerful. You are far more capable, valuable, and powerful than you think, but the life you are currently living may not reflect that because of the beliefs, habits, fears, and excuses you have accepted as normal. This book is written to shake people out of self-doubt and get them moving again. Sincero's style is different from more academic self-improvement books. She is funny, blunt, encouraging, and unafraid to sound dramatic if it helps wake the reader up. But behind the humor and bold language is a serious message. Many people are living much smaller lives than they need to because they have unconsciously settled for limitations that do not truly belong to them. The book begins by challenging the idea that your current circumstances define your potential. Maybe you are broke, insecure, stuck in the wrong job, afraid to take risks, or constantly doubting your worth. Sincero's point is not to deny those realities. Her point is that they do not have to become your identity. A lot of people are waiting for confidence before they act. They think they need to feel ready before they make a big move, ask for more, start the business, change the habit, or walk away from what no longer fits. But this book keeps pushing the opposite message. Action creates momentum, and momentum helps create belief. Sincero wants readers to realize that much of what holds them back is not lack of intelligence or talent. It is the internal story they keep repeating. It is the familiar voice that says, "Who do you think you are? What if you fail? What if people judge you? What if this does not work? What if you are not enough?" Those thoughts feel personal and realistic, but they often become cages. The first lesson of the book is that self-improvement starts with identity. If you continue seeing yourself as the kind of person who settles, hesitates, doubts, and stays small, then even good opportunities may feel uncomfortable. But if you begin seeing yourself as someone worthy of more, capable of more, and responsible for more, your choices begin to change. This is why the book hits so hard for many people. It does not merely offer techniques. It tries to change the emotional relationship you have with yourself. It asks you to stop living like someone who is apologizing for existing and start living like someone who belongs in the bigger version of their life. The opening message is simple. Your life can expand when your self-belief expands. But that expansion starts with a decision to stop underestimating yourself. One of the strongest themes in You Are a Badass is that beliefs shape behavior and behavior shapes results. Jen Sincero argues that many people are not living according to their true potential. They are living according to subconscious beliefs they absorbed years ago and never seriously questioned. These beliefs can come from childhood, family, culture, school, religion, past failure, or repeated emotional experiences. Over time, they become so familiar that they no longer feel like beliefs. They feel like reality. Statements such as "I am not the confident type," "money is hard to make," "successful people are different from me," "I always mess things up," "I am too late," "I am not attractive enough," "I am bad at relationships," or "I should not want too much" can quietly govern a person's entire life. Sincero's key point is that if you want a different life, you need to look honestly at the beliefs creating the current one. The results you have now are not random. They are often connected to what you expect, tolerate, pursue, avoid, and believe you deserve. This does not mean everything in life is simple or fully controllable. But it does mean your mindset may be limiting you more than you realize. If you believe success belongs to other people, you will hesitate when chances appear. If you believe love is unstable, you may sabotage closeness. If you believe money is stressful or morally suspicious, you may unconsciously resist opportunities to earn more. A practical lesson from this section is that awareness has to come before change. You have to catch the thoughts and assumptions that sound like your normal voice. What do you repeatedly say about yourself, other people, success, money, love, and possibility? Which of those ideas are facts and which are inherited stories? Sincero encourages readers to stop treating limiting beliefs with so much respect. Just because a thought has been with you for a long time does not make it true. Just because it feels familiar does not mean it deserves authority. This can be uncomfortable because challenging core beliefs can feel like shaking the foundation of your identity. But it is also freeing. Once you see that many limits are based on learned stories rather than permanent truths, your future starts opening up. The deeper lesson is that personal change often begins with mental rebellion. You stop automatically bowing to old beliefs, and you begin asking whether those beliefs are helping you build the life you actually want. That question alone can start changing everything. Jen Sincero makes it clear that one of the biggest obstacles to change is a poor relationship with yourself. Many people want external improvements, but underneath those goals is a deeper issue. They do not genuinely value themselves enough. They criticize themselves constantly, doubt their worth, compare themselves to others, and speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. This matters because your relationship with yourself affects every decision you make. It affects what you tolerate, what you ask for, how you recover from mistakes, what kind of relationships you enter, how much money you allow yourself to earn, and whether you think big goals are meant for someone like you. Sincero argues that self-love is not fluff, vanity, or empty positivity. It is foundational. If you do not like and respect yourself, you will often shrink your desires, sabotage progress, and accept less than you deserve because deep down it matches how you feel about yourself. A lot of people believe self-criticism keeps them humble or motivated. But the book pushes back on that. Constant self-judgment does not create healthy growth. More often, it creates fear, hesitation, and emotional exhaustion. When you keep attacking yourself, it becomes harder to take risks because failure feels like more proof against your worth. Self-love in this book means learning to see yourself as someone worthy of care, growth, abundance, and joy. It means acknowledging your flaws without turning them into identity. It means making choices that reflect respect for your own life. This also includes being honest about where you have been abandoning yourself. Maybe by staying in environments that drain you. Maybe by lowering your standards to avoid disappointment. Maybe by refusing to try because it feels safer to stay hidden. A practical takeaway is to listen carefully to your inner voice. Is it helping you become stronger, or is it keeping you small? The way you talk to yourself matters because it becomes the emotional environment in which your whole life operates. Sincero's message is that transformation gets easier when it is not built on self-rejection. You do not need to become perfect before you deserve respect from yourself. You need to start giving yourself that respect now so that growth has a healthier place to grow from. The deeper truth is powerful. When you genuinely start liking yourself more, you become less willing to settle for a life that insults your potential. A major lesson in You Are a Badass is that fear is normal, but it should not be in charge. Jen Sincero repeatedly reminds readers that waiting to feel fearless is one of the fastest ways to stay stuck. The truth is that most meaningful changes feel uncomfortable at first. Starting something new, asking for more, leaving something familiar, investing in yourself, speaking up, changing your identity, and taking a visible risk all tend to trigger fear. That does not mean you are on the wrong path. In many cases, it means you are stepping beyond the limits of your current comfort zone. The problem is that many people interpret fear as a stop sign. They assume that if something creates anxiety, it must be dangerous, unrealistic, or not meant for them. Sincero challenges that interpretation. Fear is often just the emotional cost of expansion. This is important because the comfort zone can become very deceptive. It feels safe, but it often keeps people disconnected from the life they actually want. They stay in jobs they dislike, relationships they have outgrown, habits that drain them, and routines that make them smaller, all because uncertainty feels scarier than dissatisfaction. Sincero's message is not to ignore all caution or act recklessly. It is to recognize that discomfort is often part of growth. The goal is not to eliminate fear before moving. The goal is to move with fear and let action teach your nervous system that you can survive expansion. A practical lesson here is to stop asking, "How do I avoid fear?" and start asking, "What is fear trying to keep me from becoming?" Often the answer reveals exactly where growth is needed most. Another powerful idea is that courage builds through evidence. The first step feels the hardest because you have little proof. But each time you do something uncomfortable and survive it, your identity shifts a little. You become less fragile in your own eyes. This is why bold action matters so much in the book. Not because every action will work perfectly, but because action interrupts the illusion that fear should always decide. The deeper message is that your bigger life is usually waiting on the other side of discomfort. Fear does not disappear first. You get stronger by going through it. That is how confidence begins to become real. Jen Sincero spends a lot of time pushing readers to examine whose life they are actually living. Many people think they are making independent choices, but in reality, they are heavily influenced by other people's expectations, approval, standards, and fears. This can happen quietly. You choose the safe path because it looks respectable. You hide what you really want because it might sound unrealistic. You keep parts of yourself small because you do not want to look arrogant, selfish, weird, or difficult. You measure success by what impresses others instead of what actually fulfills you. The problem with this is not only that it creates unhappiness. It also disconnects you from your own power. When you live mainly for approval, you become reactive. You stop listening deeply to what you want. Your life starts being shaped more by external expectations than internal truth. Sincero's message is that if you want extraordinary change, you must be willing to disappoint some people, confuse some people, and outgrow some people's image of you. That is part of expansion. You cannot build a life that feels true while constantly asking permission from everyone around you. This does not mean becoming careless or cruel. It means becoming honest. It means recognizing that your desires matter, your vision matters, and your fulfillment cannot be outsourced to the comfort of others. A practical takeaway is to look at a few major areas of your life and ask, did I choose this because I truly wanted it, or because it felt safer, more acceptable, or easier to explain? That question can reveal where you have been drifting away from yourself. This lesson is especially important in self-improvement because many people want transformation as long as it still looks familiar to everyone around them. But real change often looks strange before it looks successful. It may require leaving old identities behind. Sincero wants readers to stop negotiating with a version of life that no longer fits. That means getting honest about what you want, even if it sounds bigger than what you have allowed yourself to admit. The deeper message is that freedom grows when approval matters less. The more you anchor your life in what is true for you, the more energy becomes available for real change. You stop performing. You start living. One of the most useful insights in the book is that habits are not just routines. They are expressions of identity and worth. Jen Sincero suggests that what you repeatedly do often reveals what you believe you deserve. If you keep procrastinating on your dreams, avoiding opportunities, tolerating draining situations, or neglecting your health, the issue may not only be laziness or poor planning. It may also be that some part of you does not fully believe you are worthy of the bigger life you say you want. This is why behavior change cannot always be solved by surface-level tips. Productivity hacks help, but they do not go deep enough if your habits are being driven by low self-worth, fear of visibility, or a subconscious attachment to struggle. Sincero invites readers to become more honest about the connection between inner beliefs and outer behavior. Maybe you say you want success, but your daily actions keep protecting comfort and invisibility. Maybe you say you want love, but you continue choosing unavailable people. Maybe you say you want financial freedom, but your habits keep recreating stress. These contradictions can feel frustrating, but they are also informative. They reveal where your conscious goals and subconscious beliefs are not aligned. A practical takeaway is to stop judging your habits only as good or bad and start reading them like signals. What are they saying about your standards, fears, and expectations? What identity are they reinforcing? What would your daily routines look like if you genuinely believed you deserved a thriving life? This question can become very powerful. A person who believes they are worthy of health behaves differently. A person who believes they are worthy of wealth behaves differently. A person who believes they are worthy of peace, respect, and purpose behaves differently. Sincero's point is not that habits change instantly because you think differently one time. It is that lasting habit change becomes more possible when your deeper beliefs begin to support it. The deeper lesson is that habits are evidence. They show what has become normal in your inner world. Once you change what feels normal, your routines start changing with much less internal resistance. That is when transformation stops being only a wish and starts becoming a way of life. One of the most memorable parts of You Are a Badass is how Jen Sincero talks about money. She argues that money is not only a practical resource. It is also emotional, psychological, and deeply tied to self-worth, fear, and identity. Many people say they want more money, but they carry negative beliefs about wealth. They may think rich people are shallow, money is stressful, wanting more is selfish, financial success is for other people, or struggling is somehow more virtuous than thriving. These beliefs create internal conflict. You cannot fully welcome something you have quietly learned to distrust. Sincero is very clear that if you want to improve your financial life, you need to examine your relationship with money honestly. Do you respect it? Fear it? Resent it? Chase it from a place of panic? Avoid thinking about it? The emotional tone matters. She also pushes readers to stop treating poverty thinking as humility. Constantly expecting lack, apologizing for wanting more, or acting as if abundance is suspicious can keep people trapped in limitation. This does not mean worshiping money. It means removing shame and fear from your ability to receive more of it. Another major point is that people often stay financially stuck because they refuse to invest in themselves. They want a bigger life, but keep avoiding the decisions that would force them to grow. Sometimes paying for help, learning, support, opportunity, or expansion becomes the exact move that breaks old patterns. A practical takeaway is to notice the phrases you use around money. Are they expansive or restrictive? Do they sound like possibility or defeat? Then ask where those beliefs came from and whether they still deserve power over your future. Sincero's financial message is really about alignment. If you want abundance, your beliefs, emotions, and actions need to stop fighting it. You need to see yourself as someone who can create, receive, manage, and enjoy more. This part of the book resonates because money often reflects deeper identity issues. It shows where people feel worthy or unworthy, bold or fearful, open or resistant. The deeper lesson is that abundance becomes more possible when you stop treating it like something reserved for other people. When your inner world stops rejecting it, your outer behavior starts creating more room for it. That shift can change far more than a bank account. Jen Sincero repeatedly emphasizes that vague interest does not create transformation. Real change requires commitment. There is a huge difference between wanting something casually and deciding you are actually going to create it. Many people stay in the first category. They like the idea of a better life. They think about it, talk about it, read about it, and imagine it. But when it is time to make real moves, they hesitate. They delay. They keep one foot in the old life. They protect an exit door. Sincero argues that this half-committed state keeps people stuck because it does not generate enough energy, urgency, or clarity. Once you are truly committed, the way you think changes. The way you use time changes. The way you handle obstacles changes. You stop asking if it would be nice. You start asking how to make it happen. Commitment can look dramatic, but it is often very practical. It means setting a standard and refusing to keep negotiating with excuses. It means making decisions that prove you are serious. It means being willing to feel temporary discomfort because you have decided the old pattern is no longer acceptable. This is one reason the book pushes action so strongly. Action creates seriousness. It turns desire into reality. It tells your identity that this is not just another dream you talk about when you feel inspired. A practical takeaway is to identify one area where you have been interested but not committed. Then ask what true commitment would look like in action. Would it mean setting a deadline, investing money, telling someone, making a hard decision, changing your environment, or beginning before you feel ready? This lesson matters because commitment creates a different relationship with obstacles. When you are only interested, obstacles become excuses. When you are committed, obstacles become problems to solve. Sincero's message is that the universe, life, and your own mind often respond differently once you move from wishful thinking into serious action. Doors open differently when you act like someone who has decided. The deeper truth is that many people are not blocked by lack of possibility. They are blocked by lack of full commitment. Once commitment arrives, the energy of your life starts changing. Another key theme in You Are a Badass is that personal transformation is not only about strategy. It is also about energy. Jen Sincero talks often about gratitude, perspective, and emotional state because the way you feel influences what you notice, what you expect, and how you act. People who move through life in constant frustration, resentment, self-pity, or scarcity tend to reinforce the same patterns that keep them stuck. Their energy stays focused on what is missing, unfair, or impossible. Sincero encourages a different practice. Train yourself to notice what is working, what is available, what is already good, and what is possible. Gratitude matters here not because it magically solves problems, but because it changes your relationship with life. It creates openness. It helps interrupt the emotional habit of lack. It makes you less desperate and more grounded. Sincero also encourages people to begin acting like the version of themselves they want to become. Not pretending in a fake way, but aligning behavior with identity. If you want to become more confident, make choices a confident person would make. If you want abundance, start handling yourself like someone who expects expansion. If you want a healthier life, stop acting like someone who is always abandoning their own well-being. This idea is powerful because identity is reinforced through repeated behavior. The more often you act in alignment with the future self, the less foreign that version of you becomes. A practical lesson here is to ask, what would the version of me who already has this mindset do today? How would they think, speak, spend, choose, and respond? Then practice one small version of that behavior now. Sincero's point is that waiting until the external results appear can keep you trapped. Sometimes you need to lead with identity and energy first. You need to start embodying the internal posture of the person you are becoming before everything on the outside confirms it. This is where gratitude, self-respect, and aligned action begin working together. You stop living only as a reaction to current circumstances and start living as a creator of what comes next. The deeper message is that your future self is not built only by goals. It is built by the energy and behavior you practice every day. That is how the inner shift becomes visible in real life. By the end of You Are a Badass, the core message is unmistakable. Most people do not need more permission. They need more honesty, more courage, and a stronger willingness to stop betraying their own potential. Jen Sincero's book is not built around perfection. It is built around possibility. She wants readers to understand that their lives can change dramatically when they stop treating fear, old beliefs, low standards, and inherited limitations like permanent authority. The book brings together several powerful ideas. Your beliefs shape your results. Your self-worth influences what you allow. Fear is normal but not final. Habits reveal identity. Money responds to mindset. Commitment creates momentum. Gratitude shifts energy. And acting in alignment with your future self helps build a new reality. What makes this message resonate is that it does not require you to become someone else entirely. It asks you to stop shrinking who you already are. It asks you to stop clinging to smaller stories because they feel familiar. It asks you to stop using the past, other people's opinions, or your current circumstances as reasons to delay your own expansion. If you want to apply this book, start with one honest question: where am I still playing small? Maybe in money. Maybe in relationships. Maybe in your work. Maybe in your self-image. Maybe in what you allow yourself to dream about. Once you identify that area, the next step is not to overthink it. It is to move. Make the call. Set the boundary. Invest in the help. Change the routine. Speak the truth. Apply for the opportunity. Begin the project. Stop apologizing for wanting more from your life. That is what the title really points to. Not arrogance. Not pretending to be fearless. Not becoming perfect. It points to remembering your own power and behaving like it matters. The deeper lesson is that playing small does not protect you nearly as much as it costs you. It costs joy, energy, momentum, and the chance to discover what your life could become if you actually backed yourself. "You are a badass" is ultimately a call to self-respect in action. A reminder that your life will often rise or fall to the level of what you believe you deserve and what you are brave enough to pursue. The final message is clear. The moment you stop making yourself smaller, your life gets room to grow.